Welcome back to our series on the 2024 zoning amendments, the series that will guide you through the decisions you'll be asked to make on March 12th.
In this video, we'll examine zoning amendment number 6 concerning OSRD, or Open Space Residential Development, by reading the ballot text, describing the reasons for the amendment, and explaining a bit more about what the amendment would change if it's approved.
Amendment 6, OSRD. Are you in favor of zoning amendment number 6 as proposed by the Planning Board to amend the Plymouth zoning ordinance as follows? Amend Article 3, Section 304, and Article 5 to remove the current open space residential district requirements and replace with a reference to a new set of open space residential district standards that will be housed in the Plymouth subdivision regulations. In Section 304, remove the reference to cluster residential development, add footnotes to the table of uses and area dimensions to refer to the Plymouth subdivision regulations, and create a new definition to open space residential district accordingly in Article 2.
This proposed amendment, if passed, would remove our current OSRD language from the zoning ordinance and replace it with a reference to the new home for that language in our subdivision regulations. Before getting into the details, you may be asking yourself, what is OSRD? OSRD stands for Open Space Residential Development. Sometimes described as cluster development, it refers to residential development that allows for the clustering of housing units more closely together that might otherwise be allowed by zoning, in return for permanently setting aside land as open space.
Why are we proposing to make this change? A consensus is developing in the legal and planning communities that OSRD regulations are better placed in a town's subdivision regulations. Without getting ourselves pulled down in a complex legal rabbit hole, we can say that it's increasingly considered best practice and comes without notable downsides.
This amendment would remove our OSRD regulations from our zoning ordinance so that the Planning Board can adopt them into its subdivision regulations. The Planning Board has already started discussing potential changes to that language to update, clarify, and strengthen those guidelines to reach the appropriate balance between incentivizing development and protecting Plymouth's unique character. Should this amendment pass, the Planning Board would hold a public hearing and then adopt the agreed-upon language into its subdivision regulations in a separate process.
Thank you for tuning in to hear about Amendment 6. We look forward to seeing you at the polls on March 12th.